Hey everyone, so today is our last day of 7-day landscape practice challenge, and today we are going to paint this beautiful Misty Winter Lake scene. And I will show you how to create atmosphere in your painting using warmer and cooler colors. So gather all your art supply and let's get started. Here is the list of supply for this tutorial. So let me tape down my paper, and I'm using watercolor blocks, so I do not have to apply any painter's tape, but just to get the clear edges around the painting I am applying this painter's tape. Now I'm quickly sketching the horizon line by leaving 1/3 portion from the top of the paper and also marking some of the area that I'm going to paint next. So we are starting to paint the sky, and I'm just applying clean coat of water here to paint the sky wet in wet. To paint the sky, I'm starting with Naples yellow and I'm painting it in circular motion, leaving the white spot in the center. And then next I'm applying opera pink just next to this Naples yellow, also in circular motion. So the idea here is to create an impression of glowing sun on frosty morning. Do not try to overblend these paints. We are using wet in wet technique, so let the water do its magic. And lastly, I am adding mixture of opera pink, ultramarine and Payne's gray to finish up the sky, and it will give a nice purpley shade here. You can see I have used the lightest value for the sky. Next I am painting the background tree line. So I'm using the same mixture that we have used, ultramarine blue, opera pink and Payne's gray, and we are doing this step wet in wet. So this will give you a very nice cool looking background trees with very fuzzy edges or soft edges. While the background is still wet, I am starting to paint this foreground tree line, and I'm using burnt sienna to block the shape first. By using burnt sienna for blocking the shape and then adding little bit darker colors over this tree line will give you a glowing tree area under the sun. Next I'm dropping in some sepia over this burnt sienna, and I'm leaving some area near the sun as it is, and it will give an impression of glowing tree line on frosty morning. Next I am going to add little bit more Payne's gray on the bottom of this tree line to create more variation here. And lastly, I am splattering some clean water to create texture over this tree line. After this background dry, we will start painting the lake area using wet in wet technique, and we will paint all the reflection of sun and tree lines here. Now I am applying clean coat of water here, and I'm going to use the same colors that I have used for painting sky and background tree line to paint the reflection. So now I'm painting with Naples yellow and applying it just below the horizon line, and then I'm adding some opera pink to this wash, and then I will finish it up with the mix of ultramarine, opera pink and Payne's gray. Keep the colors very light and subtle like the sky, but the values will be little bit darker than what we have used for the sky. While the background is still wet, I am adding reflection of this background tree line using the same colors that we have used to paint these tree lines. Now let's paint the reflection of this tree line over here. I'm starting with the same burnt sienna and I'm leaving some space in between the reflection and the tree line. Again, we are painting this reflection while the background is still wet, so it will create a nice soft looking edges. Next, drop in the same darker paint that we have used to paint this tree line. Using control wet in wet technique, I am making some brush strokes here to create an impression of dry grass and twigs here and there, and I will add more details after the background is dry. Use the variety of lighter and darker colors here. So I am using burnt sienna for background and I'm also adding little bit of opera pink to it and then some sepia and Payne's grey. Also adding some splatters of sepia and Payne's grey to add little bit more variation in the foreground details. While this background is still wet, I am creating some highlight using palette knife. Now the background is dry, I am creating few more details using my detail brush and I am adding the same paint but now it's wet on dry and much darker value than we have used before. Now using the white gouache, I am adding more highlight over this area. So use your detail brush and keep adding details until you feel satisfied. And now to finish off the painting, I am adding little bit more splatters of white gouache here. Our painting is done here. I will wait for this to dry before I remove the tape. I have also used few metallic paints to create highlight in the original painting that I haven't used. If you wish to, you can use metallic paints to accentuate your highlights. Okay, so here is our final painting. We have used warmer colors to create a glow of the sun on winter morning, and then we have used light muted cooler colors in the background and more vibrant and warmer colors, earthy tones in the foreground to create an impression of distance and capture the atmosphere of the scene. I hope you find this 7-day landscape practice challenge useful and try all the tutorial and let me know if you have any question. Thank you.